Okay, we are recording. Hello, everyone. My name is Dawn Priolat, and I am totally devoted this year to helping you to be a wealthy entrepreneur and to really helping you to choose wealth because it actually is a decision that you must make. And that's really what I want to talk about in this class is the 3 reasons why you really must decide as a coach and a healer, you must decide to be wealthy. It's not something that's just going to happen. And no matter how much good coaching you get as far as, what to do and how to set your business up, and you hire an assistant and you've got the fabulous looking website and you've got all this great stuff going on and you've got the branding, you've got it all, right? That isn't necessarily going to ensure that you are going to be a wealthy coach or healer. So, reason number 1, I'm going to talk about myself here. I'm going to make a confession. This is something that just came to me recently. I just realized that I am guilty of this. I am guilty of treating my business like it's a hobby. And it kind of hit me hard, and I never would have admitted out loud. I mean, I really didn't think that I thought of my business as being a hobby, but I had to really admit to myself that, I was actually treating it that way. Because if you are a real business, if you have a real business, one of the things that you must do is actually set goals, real goals, income goals. How much money is this business going to bring in monthly, annually? And you see, I would set goals sometimes, and then I would sometimes follow through on those goals. And by follow through, I mean, it's not enough to just set the goal. There has to be, you've got to have somebody to hold you accountable to those goals, okay? Because when you are in business for yourself, when you're an entrepreneur, it's so much different than going to a 9-to-5 job, working for corporate, or any kind of job that you can have. It's so different because when you have a job, you have a boss, you have a supervisor, you have somebody looking over your shoulder, watching what you're doing, and they're going to let you know if your work is not up to standards, right? But in your own business, who's holding you accountable? When you say, and even if you write down, by a certain date, I am earning, $15,000 a month as a coach. Who's holding you accountable? And what happens when you write that goal down and you start getting a flood of ideas about how you might be able to do that? You might get ideas about, I don't know, maybe adding a new YouTube channel or starting one if you don't have one. You may get ideas about webinars you could do, new videos that you could make. You might get a flood of ideas, right? But at the same time, what usually comes up is a whole lot of fears and resistance and all the programming that you have from your childhood about all the reasons why it's just not safe to ask for that much money. And there may also be some stuff in there about, like do I really need to earn that much money as a coach? I mean, like, I can always keep my day job and do that, and maybe I can even get a second job. You know what I mean? You'll come up with ways to not get to the real work. And a lot of that work is the inner work. And so today, we're actually going to do some of that inner work, because I've got a real treat for you. I've got at least 5 activations, energy activations, that I'm going to do for you today on this webinar. So stick around for that. And so really the first reason why you must decide to be wealthy is because, number one, it's not going to happen just by happenstance. It's, you know, people who, in fact, Ohio State University, I believe it was, they actually did like a long-term study. And they found that the people who actually wrote down their goals, they had a very clear idea about what it was they wanted to achieve in their life. When they followed up with people, you know, 10 years, 20 years later, what they found is the people who had very clear, concise, written goals most generally achieved those goals. Whereas people who had no specific goals, no real idea, it's kind of like, I'm just going to end up wherever I end up, they really weren't achieving as much in life as the people who have goals. So, I mean, there is no other way around it. You need to have those goals. And the very reason why we don't set the goals is because it brings up a lot of discomfort. And it actually will trigger all of your family programming. You know, because think about it. Did your mom and dad set goals? Or did they just go to a regular, steady 9-to-5 job and worked for somebody else every day? You know, were goals even a thing for you growing up? Did anybody ever talk about setting goals? I know for me, it wasn't. It was just never a thing. I didn't know what goals were. Well, luckily for me, I got into the self-help kind of world when I was still very young in my teens. I'm talking 12, 13. I was already reading self-help books. But even so, I had so much baggage from my family, which is why I went towards that kind of reading material, because I knew I needed some help, okay? Now, the second reason why you really need to decide to be wealthy is, you know, really has to do with, you know, if you're a healer, a coach, you have very specific gifts, talents, and abilities. I know you do, because we all came onto the planet with very special gifts, okay? For you, you may or may not know what all of those gifts are. That's okay. But even if you're just simply, let's say you got a coaching certification, and so you're just kind of emulating so-and-so's style of coaching, that's okay, because nobody can do that style of coaching the way that you can. Even if you try to copy someone else's style and somebody else's way of doing it, you still wouldn't be able to copy it completely, because you are going to bring you into it, even if you tried not to. And so my point in saying this is, those skills, gifts, and abilities, in order for you to really be able to share those with the world, you have got to be earning money doing what you do. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do it. And you know, if you're starting out and you're in your 20s and you're watching this and you're working 2-3 jobs and you're trying to be a healer on the evenings and weekends, you might be able to get away with some of that now in your 20s. But I guarantee you, you start getting up to your 30s, 40s, 50s, you're gonna be really exhausted, and you're gonna be what I call the unhealed healer, because you're trying to heal other people. And yet, and usually as coaches, right, we're trying to tell people, oh yes, there's an abundance of money, and there's unlimited resources, right? We're trying to tell this to our clients, and yet we're speaking out both sides of our mouth, because if there's such unlimited resources and ability to earn money, then why should you have to work that hard to just to get by? And if it's an abundant universe, why are you terrified to raise your prices? Because if it's such an abundant universe, then don't you think that your clients can come up with enough money to pay you? I mean, they certainly can come up with enough money to buy, a $500 dress, or, pay for their vacation. And, I'm just saying, people find money, no matter how poor they seem to be. And even me, I came from poverty, but yet I found a way to come up with money for the things that were important to me. And travel was one of those things. And I traveled the entire world. I found ways to do it. Okay. You can do that. So that was the number 2 reason, is you will be the unhealed healer. You will be too exhausted. And that's actually going to lead you to resent your clients, by the way. You're going to feel resentful, because you're projecting all this onto them, that, oh, they won't pay me what I want. They're always trying to, make a deal with me on the price. And you'll start to resent them, because here you are working, at least 1 full-time job during the day, maybe 2. And you're having to haggle with these people over your prices on your healing, and you're doing some transformational work. Of course, you're going to feel resentful. And then what happens when you have that feeling of resentment? You are going to it's absolutely going to keep any clients from wanting to be around you, because they feel it, right? Everybody feels this stuff. It's not just you. Everyone feels it. And the 3rd reason why you really must decide to be wealthy, because, and it's not just a decision you make once, it's a decision you have to make every day, moment by moment. You have to decide, because when things get tough, when you have to do things that make you feel uncomfortable, like I just did, just 15 minutes ago, I just did a Facebook Live. Believe it or not, I'm not that comfortable always, going on camera and going on YouTube and making a video and doing Facebook Lives. I'm not comfortable, really putting myself out there like that. And yet I know I have to do these things. I have to, and doing EFT tapping helps quite a bit with that. The activations I'm going to have for you are going to help a lot with that. But yet it's still, when it comes right down to it, you got to keep choosing it. You've got to keep deciding, yes, this is what I want. I'm doing this, even when it feels uncomfortable, because this is what I want. This is what I really want. It means so much to me. And in a certain way, along with that, if you think about it, it's actually kind of selfish not to share your gifts, you know? So if you don't charge enough for what you do, and you have to keep a day job or 2 day jobs in order to make ends meet, in a way, that is actually selfish, because you're only going to have so much time, and it's going to be very little. So much time and so much energy left over at the end of the day or on the weekends to be able to actually use your transformative skills and to actually be able to help people with those. So it's actually kind of selfish. It's, a different way. Let's turn it around, because I know you. As a transformational healer, the last thing in the world you want to have someone call you is selfish. I know, because it would make me cringe too. But when you think of it in that way, it is kind of selfish, because you're actually not allowing yourself to really put yourself out there and give your gifts. When you don't charge enough and you don't really allow yourself to run your business in such a way that you can have real wealth, which means you get to serve more people with this valuable, unique gift that only you can give in the way that you do it. I don't care if you're I'm just a practitioner of Reiki or whatever it is. I don't care, because there's a special way. I guarantee you, you may not have recognized it yet, but there is something special in the way that you do it. And once you really get that and accept that, your clients are going to be reflecting that back at you. And you're going to find whatever it is that is special and unique about the way you do what you do, that no one else can do it. And so when you become willing to run your business as a business, which means you must raise your prices, and first of all, you must charge for what you do, because some of you maybe are not even charging yet, right? Because you don't think that you're good enough yet, or you haven't had enough practice yet. So you really have to start out by charging something. And, and those of you who have been charging, you've got to raise your prices, and maybe start to put a structure in your business that's going to allow you to serve more people in a bigger way and to actually earn more money without necessarily needing to have, just you doing one-on-one sessions, which is very, very time consuming. And it's actually not the most effective way to do things. Now, of course, I still do some one-on-one sessions. It's something you may choose to do in certain instances, and maybe you have a special offer where you're offering, special one-on-one sessions. That's fine. But eventually you've got to also move over to having, maybe some pre-recorded online programs, which don't require as much of your actual one-on-one participation. So, having said that, part of what, well, first I'm going to take a drink of water. And by the way, I hope you have some water on hand. If you don't, please go get some water, because I'm going to start the activations here in about 5 minutes or less. I'm going to start doing some very powerful energy activations, and you're going to need water. So now, considering everything that I just talked about, I want to ask you, what are you committed to doing this year? Think about a goal for your income. And maybe you don't even know yet how you're going to do it. Like say you want to earn $15,000 a month. Or whatever would be the next level for you. Because honestly, let's just say if I were you and I were just starting starting a business as a coach, and basically the first goal is going to be to start to replace the income that you make from your day job with income that's coming in from your business. So what about if you just started out with a goal of earning $500 a month in your coaching business? Okay. Not such a hard goal. You may be able to do it with just one client, or if you're doing separate sessions, it may be a little bit trickier because you've got to, depending on how much you're charging per session. If you're charging at least $100 per session, then that's only 5 sessions you have to sell. And of course, if you're doing about $50 a session, you're really, really just starting. Or maybe you're running a special offer where you're offering a special price at $50 per session. Then you just need 10. You only need 10 to make your 500. But then the key is to consistently be able to bring in that much money per month. And that gets a little bit trickier. And because you need consistent income, you're probably going to want to commit to doing certain things on a consistent basis. How do you want to market your business? Do you love going on Facebook and doing Facebook Lives? Then maybe you want to invest in your business and learn how to do, let's say, Facebook challenges and how to really, really market your business on Facebook. But you've got to choose your platform. And I wouldn't choose to do 10 different platforms because you're going to drive yourself nuts. Just choose, I would say 1 or 2, and certainly not more than 5. Because, it's too much. So having said all of that, the how of all of this is going to come so much easier when we clear out the limiting beliefs where we just don't believe that that's really possible for us. Maybe we believe, oh, it's possible for other people, but not for me. And beliefs from our family programming, where we've been programmed to be poor or otherwise programmed to, basically just live paycheck to paycheck with no savings. Most Americans have no savings account, none. It's amazing. That's one thing that I have definitely been doing the work on the past couple of years, is getting a savings account going and paying off debt and getting myself, getting my finances in order. Because if you say, one of the things I do in my business is help women to attract a soulmate. Now, most women aren't looking for a broke soulmate, okay? They're just not. And yet, if you're irresponsible with money and you just throw it up in the air and kind of let it land wherever it goes, how likely is a wealthy husband going to really trust you, going to want to marry someone like you who handles money that way? I don't know. You have to kind of consider, that perfect soulmate that you think it would be perfect as a soulmate. Are you ready for that? Are you up to that level? Because if you're wanting someone who's wealthy and who knows how to manage money, knows how to manage a business, where are you in all of that? Are you a match? Are you a vibrational match to that? So anyhow, without further ado, I'm going to do some sacred activations. These were activations that were originally channeled by Tamra Obiet. And I have chosen 5 of them for today. And I'm going to stick with those 5 unless I get information that I need to do something differently. So the first activation I'm going to do, I did talk a little bit earlier about our family programming and how, you could actually be programmed for poverty. But whatever your parents, whatever their financial status was, what you'll usually find is that if you start to earn more money than what your parents ever did, you may find yourself going into some major self-sabotage and creating some drama in your money so that you can get rid of it. Because deep down, that does not feel comfortable. Earning more money than mom and dad, it just doesn't feel very loyal. And so the first activation I'm going to run is called 027. And what this activation does is it works on your programming from the ages of 0 to 7, meaning from the time you were in your mother's belly and you were just, your little nervous system was just being formed in your body. All the beliefs that you took in and all the feelings that you took in, feelings about maybe being unwanted, feelings of stress, because if your mom was stressed about money when you were born, imagine how stressed she was when she found out she was pregnant with you. If she didn't know how to make ends meet. So before we go into that, I'd like you to just, if you would, close your eyes, take a deep breath. And just have your feet on the floor. And just imagine that your mind could paint you a picture. And that in your mind, there is kind of like a movie screen. And your mind is about to paint you a picture. Take another deep breath. And just feel yourself coming more and more down into your body. And now I want you to see in that picture, you at the age somewhere, probably under the age of 7, in your family home. Another deep breath. Loosen up your shoulders. And as you see yourself there, and it may just feel like you're making it up, or you may think you're just seeing an old photograph, and that's okay. But I want you to put your parents in that picture, or your caregivers, whoever was there. And if your dad wasn't there, just kind of put him off in the periphery somewhere. Because even if he wasn't physically there, there's a part of that child that knows He should have been in the picture there. And I want you to just see how your parents are dealing with money. And just get a feeling for what's the feeling around money? Is there stress? Is there tension? Is there maybe fighting and arguing about money? Just get a feeling and just let your mind paint you a picture of that scene. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run this activation of 0 to 7. When I'm running this activation, I'm going to be silent. The only way you can do this wrong is if you are driving or operating machinery, which you should not be doing right now. So just stay in that scene and I will run the activation and I will be silent for a few minutes and just allow whatever pictures, memories, thoughts to just come up to show you. Because often the memories will come up as they are being released. You don't need to hold on to them. Just observe them and then watch them go. And I'm going to get started right now. Okay. And I'm going to start running another activation. It's called Child's Guilt and Shame. And this is a deactivation. So if there's any memories that are coming up around guilt, something you feel guilty or ashamed of from any time, just let those come up, and we're going to be clearing all of that out. And I'll be quiet again. Shame is, the lowest vibration that you could possibly have. And so we want to clear out any shame you have, because it will absolutely stop you from being able to charge your worth, from feeling deserving of having money and all good things. Okay. And as these energies start to wind down, I want you to imagine that you are a big, beautiful tree, and you have huge roots coming out of the bottoms of your feet. And those roots are going all the way down into the heart chakra of Mother Earth, anchoring you there. And just imagine you can feel that nurturing energy from Mother Earth rising up through those roots and all the way up into your body, into every cell of your body. And just receive that nurturing, loving energy from Mother Earth. And you can just open your eyes when you're ready. Okay, so those were three actually, and they were all kind of deactivations. They were all clearing you out. And I want you to just know those activations, you might still feel them running. Maybe even later on, you might feel them start back up again. That's okay. You can have these activations work very quickly. You can ask them to be integrated very quickly, which I wouldn't advise actually. Or you can just ask that they be integrated with ease and grace, which I feel is a better way to do it, okay? Because I just want to warn you, you know, when we're letting go of old patterns and beliefs, and these activations, by the way, can clear out literally hundreds of old beliefs. You know, instead of doing one at a time, we're clearing out hundreds at once. So just recognize that, you know, it could bring up some stuff for you. Just try to be kind to your family members. Try to get some alone time as needed. Now, I'm going to do 2 more activations here, but just wanted to, you know, remind you of these things. And I'm going to send out this replay. So you can actually go back, and this replay will be available for a limited number. I think I might make it available for a few days, and then you'll have the option to purchase it so that you can actually go through and do these activations again and again and again. And each time you go through them, it's going to remove more and more of that clutter of those, you know, unwanted thoughts, feelings, belief systems. It's going to clear all of that out for you and keep bringing you to higher and higher levels for, you know, the next level that's you're ready to go to. So the next, I'm going to do 2 more. One of those is called Bleeding Heart. This is a really good one for those of us who are healers and coaches, because this is the one where, you know, we want to help everybody, right? And often our boundaries become very, very sketchy or non-existent because we so want to help everybody on the planet. And it is actually, you know, really important for us to get that not only is that not our job, we can't and shouldn't do that. Because again, it comes back down to self-care. And that remember I mentioned earlier about the unhealed healer. That's part of being an unhealed healer, is trying to heal everybody on the planet. And it only leaves you feeling exhausted, and it could lead you to actually having a physical illness. And, you know, in the worst case scenario, it could lead to things like breast cancer because, you know, cancer attacks the breast because we're constantly nurturing. The breasts represent our nurturing energy. And that's part of wanting to heal everybody. But even if it doesn't go that far, it could just lead to you feeling very, very resentful and feeling like you're being taken advantage of. Well, here's the thing though. If you have healthy boundaries, nobody is going to be able to take advantage of you because you're staying present in your body and present to how you feel and your energy levels and what does and does not feel comfortable for you. So there is no such thing as being taken advantage of, really, because that would assume that there is a victim here, that you are a victim, which you're not. So anyhow, let's I'd like to wrap this up in the next 10, 15 minutes. So let's go ahead. I'm going to run Bleeding Heart. Actually, I'll do 3 activations. I'll do Bleeding Heart, and then I'm going to run Healthy Boundaries, because that is a perfect kind of reframe for Bleeding Heart. And the last one I'm going to do is called Bridging the Gap. Bridging the Gap is an activation that's about, you know, sometimes it feels like there's a gap between you and those perfect, ideal clients that you would love to be serving. And maybe it just feels like there's a gap and you don't know how to bridge that gap, the marketing and so on. So what this activation will do is will help you to bridge that gap and to find the resources, whether it be a marketing plan, whether it be doing Facebook Lives once a week, I don't know, but just expect that you will be brought the resources, the ideas, the inspired, and be able to take inspired action around the ideas you get so that you can bridge the gap and you can actually find those people who would be your ideal clients and be able to serve them in a way where you're able to set healthy boundaries and not just be that bleeding heart and out to help everyone. Okay, so take another drink of water. And I'm going to get started. Again, you can just focus on your heart space, or you can just go within and just notice memories coming up, thoughts. Just let them come up, observe them, let them go. There's no need to do anything with them because probably what they are just memories and things that just they're leaving. Okay, so just let them go. So I'm going to start being recognized, and I'll be silent during this. Oh, I didn't actually explain being recognized. Being recognized is really just about allowing yourself to actually be recognized for the work that you do. And this is really, really important because, for one, as a healer and a coach, is it important to have testimonials from people, right? Is it necessary to have people recognize and actually write it down or make a video saying how great you are and how transformative your session was? Of course, it's very important. And also part of being recognized for your work is the part where you actually get to get paid, and you get paid well. Okay? So I'm going to run being recognized, right now, and I will be silent. So just focus on your heart space. And do not drive or operate any heavy machinery, okay? And I'm going to get started right now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start up bleeding heart and just focus on all the ways that you maybe overgive, become a martyr, try to help everybody. Just let those thoughts and feelings come up and just be willing to let them go. Okay, so I'm going to start up the final activation, and this one is called Bridging the Gap. We're going to be bridging the gap between you in your ideal clients in whatever way that needs to happen. So just allow whatever comes up for you around that, around getting clients, how hard it is to get clients, what you think you'd have to do to get clients. Just let it come up. And again, I'm going to be quiet. Any thoughts that might come up about they won't pay me for what I do, or they won't pay what I'm asking. Allow that to come up too. And actually, I forgot to run the activation, but I'm going to do it now. The one, it's called healthy boundaries. Okay, so this is going to be a really good finish for these activations. And if you think about it, setting a healthy boundary, that's part of you pricing your products and services. You know, you're setting a standard, you're setting a boundary. Like, and if someone tries to talk you into lowering your price as if you're, I don't know, at a flea market or something, you know, you can set a healthy boundary about that. So that's what this activation is for. So just allow whatever thoughts and experiences you have around that to come up. And I'll just be quiet now. Okay, so as the energies start to wind down a little bit, and if it's still running for you, that's fine. Just know that you can come back to this recording and you can even fast forward right to the activations if you choose to, and you can keep bringing yourself up to the next level of clearing, whatever that is for you. And just notice as you set those goals in your business how things are changing. how much easier it is for you to just simply state your price and, not even go there into haggling about your price. Because there are just certain people that are not your ideal client. And so you can just choose to recognize that immediately. When they start haggling with you, that's probably not going to be your ideal client. So to finish this off, again, I want you to just pretend that you're a big, huge tree and you've got roots coming out of your feet and going all the way down into Mother Earth and anchoring in. Imagine there's a big boulder down there in the heart chakra of Mother Earth, and your roots are wrapping around it. So you are secured to the earth. And just take some of that loving, nurturing energy back up through the roots from Mother Earth, that nurturing energy that maybe you didn't get as a child. You can take it now. Just be willing to receive it into every cell of your body. Receive your sustenance and your strength from Mother Earth. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Ooh, yawn if you need to. Take a drink of water. And so this will be on replay for a few days. I'll also send out a link and an email about how you can own this recording, so you can listen to it as many times as you want. I also am offering specials on private sessions, one-on-one sessions. These are 30-minute sessions, and 30 minutes is actually a lot of time because we don't need to go into a story with these things. Like, you can just get on, you'll meet me in Zoom, just like we're doing right now, and you'll come on and you'll tell me just a little bit about what's going on in your life and what you need help with. And then I will be intuitively receiving which activations are the correct ones for you at this time. Now, I'll warn you, sometimes the activations that I give you may not seem logically like they would fit your issue. And so I will ask you to trust me on that, because sometimes we have things going on. For example, if you come to me about money issues and I am told to run an activation having to do with your family constellations, for example, you may not think that that actually directly applies to your money situation, but just trust that it does, and actually be willing to be open and see what happens with that. So there's single sessions, one-on-one, and I also am offering a package of sessions where you can get 5 sessions, and that way you're actually getting, not only are you getting like the super lowest price that this is ever going to be, but you'll actually get one of those sessions for free if you buy the package. And I will have the links for those beneath this video. Okay. So I want to thank you for being here with me today. I know some of you may be a bit groggy, and I know I am a little bit, but this has been great. And I am totally committed to helping you to be a wealthy entrepreneur this year and in 2020. So let me know how I can help you, and any questions and comments that you have, you can comment below. So thanks. Ciao for now.